It's a lot closer to where I live here in Provo than driving all the way to Salt Lake.
The Provo Airport has plans to open new terminals.
I'm so thrilled to be able to present this check.
The Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints distributes donation from the giving machines.
It is very painful, but I continue to be Alyssa's voice.
Today marks the one-year anniversary of the Parkland High School shootings. Happy Valentine's Day and welcome to Newsline. It's Thursday, February 14th, 2019. I'm Maren Klein.
And I'm Amy Hamilton. 1 year after the deadliest high school shooting in U.S. history, a tense debate continues over how to protect students in classrooms.
Natasha Chen takes a look at lessons learned and the movement that was sparked by the Marjorie Stoneman Douglas High School shooting.
First responders have arrived on campus for a breakfast to honor them, and students who have come to campus today are doing a half day of service, along with a moment of silence to remember the victims.
You know, it felt like any other day, but this day is 1 year ago when Alyssa was brutally shot down and taken from our hearts.
1 year ago, the Marjorie Stoneman Douglas High School community was forever changed in a span of 5.5 minutes when a former student shot and killed 17 students and staff members. A commission found some of the people who were there failed to confront the shooter. The school resource officer resigned, and Governor Ron DeSantis suspended the Broward County Sheriff.
More important, they want the problems fixed going forward.
Going forward, the students have made sure their story is one of survival and change. A year in the life of survivors performing at the Tony Awards, receiving honors, and gracing magazine covers. But that's because of how they've turned pain into action.
Fight for your lives before it's someone else's job.
Students marched on Washington and toured the country with gun violence prevention rallies.
There are people that got elected because they said, I'm going to make it my priority to prevent gun violence.
Since the shooting, 26 state legislatures and Washington, D.C. have passed gun control measures. But on the federal level, it's unlikely for the Republican-controlled Senate to pass similar bills.
And it is very painful, but I continue to be Alyssa's voice and fight for Alyssa and fight for change.
Just on Tuesday, Democrats in the House proposed a bill that would ban any magazines exceeding 10 rounds of ammunition. So far, there are no Republican co-sponsors of that bill. In Parkland, Florida, Natasha Chen, back to you.
Thanks, Natasha.
South Jordan Middle School officers are investigating a shooting threat. School officials found the threat written on a boys' bathroom stall. Administrators saw it over 2 weeks ago, but it had today's date written on it. The school will have a higher police presence the remainder of this week. Police believe that the threat is not true, but rumors and similar threats are making their way to other school districts. Harriman police are investigating similar threats to the one rumored at South Jordan Middle School. Police say, "We share the same goal as our partners in the Jordan School District to keep our children safe while they're in our care."
After months of negotiations, doctors from Intermountain Healthcare and University of Utah Health are able to recommend medical cannabis to qualifying patients. A patient with qualifying conditions letters signed by a licensed physician could be protected from prosecution if found with medical cannabis. Since the passage of the Utah Cannabis Act, it is no longer illegal for a patient to have medical cannabis. However, it is still illegal to buy cannabis here in Utah.
More flights, more passengers, and more terminals. That's the goal of the Provo Airport. Newsline reporter Taylor Osler joins us now. Taylor, what are the changes?
As part of a long-term plan, the Provo Airport is planning the construction of a new terminal. The terminal will include 3 to 4 gates, allowing for more flights to come and go, something many travelers like.
I would love if the Provo Airport expanded more. I have a sister that lives down in LA that I travel to visit, and it'd be super nice if they had some more locations that they opened up to.
Allegiant, the airport's only airline, currently flies to Mesa every day, but the airport aims to have multiple daily flights to Denver and LA. They also hope to provide more options to those living nearby instead of having to drive 50 miles up to Salt Lake.
It's a lot closer to where I live here in Provo than driving all the way to Salt Lake. So it's just like a nice location, especially for students and just people that live on this side of the Wasatch Front.
The new terminal will be located just south of the current one. Environmentalists are conducting an impact study on the land before construction begins, but minimal impact is expected. The construction will cost an estimated $14.5 million, $8 million of which has already been funded federally. Funding for the remaining money needed is what Provo City Council is working to figure out. The airport will add a new parking lot as well in anticipation of more passengers. Back to you.
Thanks, Taylor.
The woman who accidentally shot and killed a 14-year-old boy while target shooting will help teach gun safety. In September, 40-year-old Kayleen Richens accidentally shot the young boy while his family was out on a drive. According to court documents, she and her family were not aware of the road that ran behind where their targets were set up. She was charged with negligent homicide, a Class A misdemeanor. Instead of serving jail time, the judge sentenced her to appear in an educational gun safety video.
A public funeral is scheduled to remember the life of a Utah woman who spent nearly 2 years fighting to free her son from a Venezuelan jail. Laurie Holt, mother of Josh Holt, unexpectedly died in her home Sunday morning. The funeral is scheduled for this Saturday at 12 p.m. at LDS Chapel in Riverton. While known in the public for her efforts to get her son out of prison, Holt's family and friends remembered her for her faith and friendliness towards others. Mia Love, former Utah representative and a close friend of the Holt family, established a GoFundMe to aid with funeral costs.
Right now, 2 bills in the Utah State Legislature may change the way tobacco products are sold here in Utah. House Bill 252, sponsored by Representative Paul Ray, will tax e-cigarettes or vapor pens. Right now, Representative Steve Eliason is getting ready to sponsor House Bill 327. If passed, this would change the legal smoking age from 19 to 21 in Utah. Both bills are just in their beginning stages and have not yet gone through their respective committees.
The Salt Lake City Fire Department gives tenants at the Georgia apartments a 2-day extension after being red tagged. The apartments were condemned due to hazardous living conditions and faulty fire response equipment in the building. Originally, the tenants were given only 72 hours to get out of the apartments, which came today. While many of the residents have found new housing, others are still in the process. The new deadline gives residents until Saturday at 12 p.m. to leave.
Utah's homeless and refugees in the Middle East can sleep a little warmer thanks to a unique mat crafted by volunteers. Newsline reporter Ty Mullen joins us now. Ty, what are students doing to help refugees?
What started with a group of ladies making quilts together has since grown into a full-scale operation run completely by volunteers. Christy Wright, founder of Stitching Hearts, partnered with YServe nearly 2 years ago. Since then, sleeping mats, quilts, pillows, and teddy bears produced have gone on to help thousands. The sleeping mats are created by weaving plastic bags on specialized looms. Because of the amount of labor involved, volunteers are only able to complete around 5 of them during the weekly 2-hour projects.
These mats will be delivered to refugees around the world, and the mats keep refugees 15 degrees warmer than they would by sleeping just on the desert ground. And so that's over in the Middle East, usually those are sent.
YServe holds the Refugee Service Project every Wednesday from 7 to 9 in the Garden Court of the Wilkinson Center. Be sure to check out their Facebook page called YServe Refugee Service for updates and location changes. Warm mats for sleeping and warm hearts for serving. It doesn't get much better than that. Reporting for Newsline, I'm Ty Mullen.
The Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints is donating their vending machine funds to global humanitarian partners. During holiday months, the church sets up red vending machines filled with items you can buy that will help others across the world. This year, the church generated $2.3 million from these machines. Primary President Joy D. Jones met with Care Water Aid America and UNICEF USA to donate funds generated by all the donations.
We're thrilled. I mean, we're going to put this check and the money to really good use. Water Aid works with some of the most vulnerable people in the world.
100% of the donations are being used to purchase thousands of meals, medical supplies, clothing, household supplies, and even some chickens and goats. The machines were placed all over the world, including Manhattan, London, and even the Philippines.
Vice President Pence is in Poland, and he has a lot to say.
I bring greetings from the 45th President of the United States of America.
How Pence is standing up for NATO.
Severe flight turbulence leads to an emergency landing. We'll tell you how passengers and flight attendants dealt with the chaos.
And a huge explosion caught on camera. Find out what caused this explosion.
See on page 4 that the projections need to be earthquake. Next Thursday?
Seriously? Thursday? Can't do that.
This is really inconvenient.
I have yoga that day.
I have no time for this.
So
I can't do Thursday, but I can do Friday.
Disasters don't plan ahead. You can. Talk to your loved ones about how you're going to be ready in an emergency. Don't wait. Communicate.
Truth is, I'm impressed. I haven't been asked such intelligent questions in a long time. Nice.
These are cool. Did you, what did you...
What?
I don't remember how it started.
North of that.
Our back and forth. It always came back. Dad! You probably don't remember what you told me,
That was perfect.
but I heard every word.
Vice President Mike Pence says the U.S. needs to be strong and united at the NATO luncheon.
It's an honor to join you for this first ever ministerial to promote a future of peace and security.
Pence addressed American and Polish troops in Poland, speaking of the importance of NATO, the North Atlantic Treaty Organization between North America and European countries. He said that an attack on one is an attack on all, reaffirming U.S. commitment to the alliance. Mike Pence also sent greetings from President Trump. After a 3-day strike, Denver teachers are finally reaching a deal with Denver's public schools today. A few thousand teachers went on strike this week, refusing to return to the classroom until they get more money. A deal was made today that gives them a 7 to 11% increase in base salary. The teachers are set to head back to school this next Monday.
2 people are injured after a suspected meth lab exploded in a house in Texas. Police believe people were cooking meth inside the house, which caused the explosion. Many neighbors were around the house hearing and seeing it. A Memphis Police Department spokesperson says the fire department is still handling the investigation and no decision has been made on possible criminal charges. 3 people had to be hospitalized after an airplane flight hit severe turbulence in midair Wednesday afternoon.
I saw the drink cart hit the ceiling along with the flight attendant who was doing the drink service.
A tipped-over beverage cart is only part of the chaos inside the cabin of Delta Flight 5763. The flight from Orange County to Seattle encountered severe turbulence and made an emergency landing in Reno. The Delta Connection flight was diverted to Reno, Nevada after the incident.
A Utah family is celebrating Black History Month with song. Find out why this month means so much to this family and how they are educating others through music.
Wicked weather is brewing all across the country. How people are dealing with the endless snow and freezing temps.
It's Valentine's Day. I'll tell you how happy couples are celebrating and how lonely hearts are commiserating.
Listen, you're my friend.
I noticed you haven't really been yourself recently.
Yeah, I feel like something's up.
How are you?
Are you okay?
Is there anything you want to talk about?
I just want to know how you're feeling.
And listen, even if you don't know what to say, I'm here to talk.
No matter what you're going through,
I just want you to know I'm here.
I've got your back.
when you want to talk, I'm here.
They call me Maxie, but I prefer tripod. I was your above-average four-legged homie, and then wham-bam minivan. Some people pity me. Now that's lame. I still run, fetch, and swim. And the ladies love me. I'm the ultimate wingman. Just don't ask me to high-five.
It's Black History Month, and one family is making a point to remember our Black ancestors. Newsline reporter Kelsey Carlson met with the family.
Parents Harry and
and Deborah Bonner love music. They started their family as Baptist missionaries in Liberia, Africa. They later moved to Utah after joining the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. 8 children later, what the Bonner parents wanted them to remember was their heritage.
African American music is a great part of American music.
Then they decide to share their gift of music with the world. Their music has been featured in the film Jane and Emma, The Mormon Channel, and their recently released album. Fans of the music, the Lusk family, love the insight that the Bonner family performances give to their adopted son's heritage.
It's very important for us to raise our son understanding his heritage and where he came from and his history.
Deborah Bonner said raising an African-American family in Utah, where they were the minority, has been difficult.
How the media and even America portray black people sometimes isn't the best. And so a little black kid can begin to feel bad about who they are.
The Bonner family feels it is important for those with black heritage to feel proud of where they came from. When they saw their children start to feel uncomfortable in their own skins, they knew something needed to change.
To have positive black images in the home. Yeah. And music.
That change made all the difference. Decades later, the family still is touching lives all over the world through music and the light they share. Reporting for Newsline, I'm Kelsey Carlson.
The Bonner family hopes that spreading their message can help bridge diversity gaps. To learn more about their movement or find out where they will be holding their next event, go to motherbonner.com.
Today is Valentine's Day, and people can't seem to stop talking about the holiday of love. In fact, nearly 3 million people are tweeting about it. Savannah Hegerhorst is here to tell us more about how people celebrate in unique ways. Savannah?
That is right. It is a happy holiday for people who want to celebrate love. A group of women decide to take Valentine's Day into their own hands. Social media personality Olani challenged her followers. She said, "Message your crush. I've had a crush on you for some time. Would you like to go on a date with me this Valentine's Day?" Tweet me a screenshot of their response to this thread. She got a huge response. People uploaded the reactions from their crushes. This romantic response says, "I don't really have that much money. Can we go to McDonald's or something?" The personality host also challenged her followers to another quest for tonight. She said, "Ladies, this Valentine's Day, you're stealing food from his plate and recording his reaction." Check back on her page later tonight to see the reactions. People who aren't in relationships don't seem to share quite the same zeal for the holiday, as the hashtag Single Awareness Day is also trending. This single person shared on their Instagram. So today is Valentine's Day, or as we single people like to call it, Thursday. Another user advocated their single cause and shared this: "When your milk has a Valentine's Day date and you don't." Whether you are in a relationship or not, I hope you have a great day. My Valentine's date will consist of stealing my husband's food and recording his reaction.
The winter blast covering parts of the U.S. is causing damage and disrupting everyday life for many.
John Lawrence reports on the damage.
Severe weather causing a landslide that knocked down trees and power lines in suburban Pittsburgh.
The residents they're in disbelief because they've never seen something like that.
Officials say the problems will continue even after all the debris is removed.
It's going to create a dam and a creek there, and so that's going to be the big issue after that's all said and done, is clearing that dam up so the creek will flow the way it's supposed to and not start having flooding issues.
In California, trees and power lines also upended. Officials say people in Shasta County may be without power for days. Flooding in Petaluma, where 2 high school students helped rescue a trapped school bus.
The water's just too deep to see the yellow line, and another car was coming and you just couldn't see where the edge of the road was because you can't see the middle.
More than 30 million people in Los Angeles, San Diego, and San Francisco are under a flood watch, and rain and threat of mudslides also caused state officials to issue evacuation orders for residents of the Holy Burn area. And in Washington state, the National Guard is on hand to help those isolated because of heavy snow.
King County is doing all it can, but this is an unprecedented situation.
Meanwhile, in the center of the nation, snow removal crews in Wisconsin are busy.
Well, we always want to plan like it's going to snow all the way to March 31st, and who knows, maybe May.
I'm John Lawrence reporting.
A mudslide caused problems for residents in Northern California early this morning. Officials say the mudslide caused at least one home to slide about 75 yards into another house. One woman had to be rescued from the scene. She's now in hospital with unknown injuries. The mudslide comes after the Sausalito area was hit with a great deal of rain in a short amount of time. I'm at BYU campus where the students are not wearing jackets, thinking that it might get warmer. However, we will see some rain this evening. California will be seeing some rain this weekend. However, the rain will move east towards here in Utah. The blue on the radar is the rain that will hit bigger parts of Utah today and tomorrow. The high temperatures for today show St. George at 50 degrees, 49 in Salt Lake, 46 in Provo, 39 in Vernal and Blanding. Our lows shows 36 in St. George, below freezing up north in Logan, 35 in Salt Lake, and 33 in Provo. The 5-day forecast for southern part of Utah shows a cloudy weekend with chances of rain. The temperatures are dropping throughout the week, with the lowest being 24 degrees. Northern part of Utah will have some rain tomorrow, with temperatures around the 30s for upcoming days. With lower temperatures below freezing, we might still see some sun shining through the clouds, so no need to bundle up because it might get warmer this weekend.
4 Cougar sports teams are in action this afternoon and evening. What teams you can show your love and support for this Valentine's Day? Also, Steve Kerr and the Warriors might need a few extra flowers and chocolate today after last night's game in Portland. I'll show you what happened when we come back.
Hey Bobo, do trees tell each other stories?
I'm sorry, I'm afraid I don't know that.
Hey, why don't we go find out? Listen.
Can birds draw pictures?
I don't have an answer for that.
Dad, do stars visit their friends?
Look!
Todd's a great guy. I mean, look at him. What a sweetheart. Attaboy. Wait, Todd, what are you doing? How totally selfish and un-Todd-like of you. Come on, Todd. Come on, man.
It's Valentine's Day and 4 Cougar sports teams will be playing their hearts out this afternoon and evening. The BYU men's basketball team will travel to San Diego to take on the Toreros at 8 p.m. San Diego enters the game with a 16-9 record and a 5-5 mark in conference play. This will be the first of 2 games the Cougars will play against San Diego this season, with the second game coming in Provo next month. On the women's side, the BYU women's basketball team will travel to Portland to take on the Pilots. The Cougars beat the Pilots by a score of 79-71 here in Provo last month and are looking to keep their momentum going after last Saturday's win over Pacific. That game will also tip at 8 p.m. tonight. The BYU men's volleyball team is the only team that will be playing at home here in Provo tonight. Coming off of 4 straight losses and having not played a home game in over a month, the Cougars will finally return home to the Smithfield House to take on conference foe Concordia at 7 p.m. The 4th Cougar sports team in action today is the softball team, who began their season in Mexico last weekend. The Cougars dropped 3 of their first 4 games during last weekend's tournament, but will take the field again this afternoon in Las Vegas. The Cougars will take on Fordham at 2 p.m. and Hawaii at 6. There wasn't any love between the Warriors and the Blazers in Portland's 129-107 win over Golden State last night.
Steve Kerr is going nuts. Oh, he just slammed down the board. He gets a technical. He might get thrown out. He does.
Warriors coach Steve Kerr was ejected after throwing down his clipboard and getting into the official's face following a questionable flagrant call on Draymond Green. The Blazers went on to pound the Warriors in the 4th quarter, 35-12. Golden State still leads the Western Conference standings while Portland sits in 4th, 2 games ahead of the Jazz.
Down by 1. Isaiah, long range. Yeah!
Isaiah Thomas made his Denver Nuggets debut against his former team, the Sacramento Kings, last night. Thomas, who was drafted by the Kings in 2011, scored 8 points and recorded 2 assists in 13 minutes in the Nuggets' 120-118 win over Sacramento. After averaging nearly 30 points per game and earning second-team All-NBA honors for Boston during the 2016-2017 season, Thomas wasn't a big contributor for the Cavs and the Lakers the past 2 years while recovering from injury. The Nuggets sit in second in the Western Conference standings, only 2 games behind Golden State.
You see him walking around on the sidelines. Flacco, pump fake. Down the right side, wide open is John Brown for the touchdown.
Isaiah Thomas's performance wasn't the only headline out of Denver yesterday. The Broncos announced a trade that will send Baltimore Ravens quarterback and former Super Bowl MVP Joe Flacco to Denver. Flacco will compete with last year's starter Case Keenum for the starting job. We'll be right back.
I don't remember how it started.
Go to that.
Our back and forth. It always came back.
Dad!
You probably don't remember what you told me,
That was perfect.
but I heard every word.
Some elementary school students in Lawton, Oklahoma are giving back to a local veteran. Rasil Troxil is a 92-year-old World War II vet whose family is asking him to send him birthday cards. A PE teacher at Eisenhower Elementary has asked her students to write cards, and she says that she expects to have more than 300 to sell to Troxil by the end of the week. That is incredible. Anyway,
Amazing.
Thanks for joining us today for Newsline.
For more information on our stories or to share them with your friends, check out our website at universe.byu.edu/news.